Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tassif. I am back with another live stream, and today I'm going to be discussing Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Who is ahead in the polls? And so that's the question I'm going to be discussing. And my friends, it's been a while since I have done a solo live stream. And, I appreciate all of you staying connected with me, watching my channel. And I have been doing live streams, but not alone. I have had some wonderful guests on my channel in the last, month or so, maybe month and a half. Over the last several weeks, I've had some really great guests on my channel, including, the people who have been guests on my channel. They are really great conservative voices in Wisconsin, and the list includes some elected officials, incumbent elected officials who came and shared their thoughts about current affairs, what's going on in Wisconsin, what's going on in the United States. And so I have really enjoyed having the guests on my channel so far, and I hope to have more guests in the future. But I wanted to make sure that, I do a solo live stream just to reconnect with a lot of you. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be paying attention to the chat window as you are tuning in. If you want to share your thoughts, if you have questions that you want to ask me. By the way, we had some great questions from the viewers during some of the live streams that I've done with guests. People have asked questions in the chat window, and I've repeated those questions so that the guests could answer. So thank you so much to all of you for staying connected to my channel. And today I'm the only one here. I'm doing the solo live stream, so I will be answering your questions. Just make sure you ask the questions in the chat window. And I want to hear your thoughts. Obviously, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about who's ahead in the polls, and I'm going to be discussing some numbers here. But I want to hear from you. As I used to say before during solo live streams, please, as you are tuning in, write something in the chat window. Tell me where you're from. If this is the first time that you're tuning in to watch my live stream, then introduce yourself, write the city, write the state that you're from, and just as I move forward, just share your thoughts in the chat window and stay connected with me. Okay, my friends, let me jump into the discussion here. All these months, we have been following the Trump versus Biden polls, right? Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, and there were lots of polls, and people were discussing the results, like who's ahead, is Trump ahead, is Biden ahead? But that's no longer relevant. Everything's changed in the last few weeks. I see a viewer just wrote a comment, wrote Trump 24. I agree with you, Trump 2024. I'm a Trump supporter, so it's good to see another Trump supporter here in the chat window. So thank you for tuning in. My friends, all those conversations about is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Biden? Who's going to win? Is Biden going to win another term? Is he going to win re-election? Is Trump going to come back and be the president again? All those conversations are just gone. That's history, because now everything's changed over the last few weeks. Now it's Trump versus Harris. Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Now, I do have to mention something that I'm sure all of you know. Kamala Harris is not officially the nominee, but all things indicate that she will be the nominee. If you are paying attention, the Democrat Party leaders, have hijacked this process of deciding who the nominee is. It's supposed to be the voters who vote in the primaries and they decide, right? But the Democrat Party leaders, the people sitting in powerful positions in the Democratic Party, they have hijacked this process. And a few Democrat and they're not allowing the voters to have a say in the process. Okay, um, people. I mean, in the primary process, when the Democratic primaries were taking place, the voters voted and they selected Joe Biden. Now, I completely oppose Joe Biden because I'm a Trump supporter, because I'm a Republican, but I'm just keeping the Republican discussion aside. Okay, let's just focus on the Democrat discussion. The voters voted for Joe Biden, and after that process ended, after in the month of July, when the Republican convention took place and Trump announced who he picked for VP, and so it was all decided. It's going to be Joe and Kamala versus Trump and Vance, and suddenly, Joe Biden decides to exit the presidential race. Okay, now obviously there was a lot of pressure on him, and it was just amazing to see how all these high-ranking Democrat officials they started coming out and they started saying, hey, Joe Biden, your time's up. You should not run for re-election. Okay, somebody asked, are you a Republican? Well, I am a Republican and I'm a Trump supporter. Okay, I see the question says, are you a Republican or a Trump supporter? I don't think it's or, because Trump's a Republican. I'm a Republican and a Trump supporter. I see some other folks are saying Trump all the way and Trump. Thank you. It's just amazing to see Trump supporters here. Okay, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, stay connected with me. I'm gonna have lots of discussion, and I do these live streams, so I like to hear from the viewers what they are thinking. So stay connected with me. Okay, so as I was saying, it seemed like it was a done deal that, okay, we know who's on the ticket on the Republican side, on the Democratic side, Trump Vance versus Biden Harris. And all of a sudden, all these prominent Democrats started putting pressure on Joe Biden to drop out, to leave the presidential race, and eventually he did. And then the conversation started, who's going to be at the top of the ticket? What is the process going to look like? Will a selection be made at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago? And you saw all those endorsements come in. All the endorsements, one after another, all these high-ranking Democrat officials, prominent Democrats, they start endorsing Kamala Harris. And now Kamala Harris is the front runner, and it's pretty obvious that she's going to be the nominee. I'd be very surprised if she's not the nominee, if it's somebody else. I mean, she is going to be the nominee. If you're paying attention, you're seeing all the developments that are taking place on the Democratic side. So what I'm trying to tell you is that now you see that all those people who voted in the primary, in the Democratic primary, to select, to vote for Joe Biden and to choose him as the nominee, those voters are feeling betrayed right now, because now they're not having a say in the process. The party leaders are selecting who's going to be the nominee, and they have selected Kamala Harris. So to all the Democrat voters out there, You must be feeling sad and betrayed. The Democrats, they talk about democracy, but within their own party, you see that there is no democracy. They're not following democracy. The Democrats talk about democracy, but they are being hypocrites. Okay, because in the selection process, they're not following a democratic process. It's not a democracy. The voters are not having a say in the process. The party leaders are choosing Kamala, and ideally, I think on the Democratic side, there should be candidate forums. People should have a say. People should, look at a few different candidates and decide who should be the nominee. But, I think it's a done deal. The Democrat leaders have already decided it's going to be Kamala Harris. And so coming back to the discussion, as the title of this live stream says, Trump versus Harris, because I think it's going to be Trump versus Harris. So let me now go into the discussion of who's ahead in the polls. Okay, who's ahead in the polls? Colin writes, Electoral College isn't democratic either. Well, Colin, because we are a constitutional republic. We are a constitutional republic. Okay, so we are a republic. The United States of America is a constitutional republic. Now, I do understand that that's why we have electoral college. But, some Democrats, they want to get rid of the electoral college. They want majority rule. But that's not going to be fair because we have states of different sizes. If you want all the states to have a say in who's going to be the president, we have to have the electoral college. So I love the electoral college system. I think that's fair. That's a fair system. Otherwise, if you just had majority rule, like whoever gets 50+% votes across the country, then a few big states, a few heavily populated states would dominate this process. That's why we have the electoral college, because we want, obviously, we have a system that is fair. Okay, it's not just simple majority rule. All the states have a say in the process. The voters of all the states get to have a say in who should be the president. Okay. All right. So that's my answer to Colin, who said electoral college isn't democratic either. We love the electoral college. I do. Okay. All right. So going back to who's ahead in the polls. I'm going to be discussing some statistics here because I looked at Real Clear polling, and overall, it seems that Trump is ahead. Okay. And that makes sense because the voters are not happy with the voters are not happy with the economy. The voters are not happy with the open border policy and the border crisis that people have been facing since Joe Biden came to office. The voters are not happy about what's going on around the world. When Trump was in office, the United States had a great position in the world. We're obviously the global leader, but it seems like our standing in the world is being diminished because of lack of leadership in the White House. And so when I look at Real Clear polling and I see that Trump is ahead, that does make sense because people want strong leadership. People miss the days when Trump was in office because everything was heading in the right direction. The economy was great. The businesses were thriving. A lot of new businesses were opening up. And the border, Trump worked really hard to secure the border. We had energy independence. Gas prices were low. Everything was great. Okay? Everything was heading in the right direction. Even when we had challenges, of course, there always will be some challenges, but at least we were heading in the right direction. We were moving in the right direction. But that was under Trump. But when Biden came to office, everything started going in the wrong direction. And so when I see the polls, when I see real clear polling that Trump is ahead in the polls, it does make sense because people want leadership. People want change. People are sick and tired of the Democrats controlling the executive branch of government. So I think there is strong support for Trump as we head towards the November election. Now I'm going to pause. Let me look at some comments here. Somebody is commenting on the wall. The wall is great. Okay, the border wall is great. Sadly, the Democrats don't understand that. But I love it. I love the wall. And when Trump comes back to office, the wall's going to be stronger, and there will be lots and lots of new measures. I'm hoping new measures to secure the border. Okay. Somebody writes, I heard Harris is gaining ground, at least according to the liberal outlets. Some will say that Harris is gaining ground. Some will say that Trump is gaining more support. Different outlets will say different things, I think. And even, I'm going to be discussing some polls. And even as I discuss some poll numbers, you're going to see that in the same state, different polls have different results. Some will say some will say Harris is ahead. Some will say that Trump is ahead. So, and then you, as a voter, you have to try to decide which poll you're going to trust more. Okay, let's see. Someone writes, new subscriber here. Oh, thank you. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for staying connected. Okay. I'm going to move forward here. Now, in most of the polls listed in Real Clear Polling, I saw that Trump is ahead. According to Rasmussen poll, Trump is ahead by 7 points. Okay? And then Wall Street Journal, Trump is ahead by 2 points. CNN poll, Trump is ahead by 3 points. Let me make sure that I have the updated numbers. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, so I'm looking at 2024 general election, Trump versus Harris. Okay, the Real Clear polling average has Trump ahead by 1.2 points. All right, and let's see. Okay, Rasmussen poll. What does Rasmussen poll show? Okay, so I think there are some new numbers. Okay, so let me take back what I said a minute ago. Let me give you the new numbers. Rasmussen poll shows that Trump is ahead by 5 points. 5. Okay, I think earlier I said 7. No, it's 5. Wall Street Journal poll has Trump ahead by 2 points. I think that's what I had said. Wall Street Journal, Trump is ahead by 2 points. CNN poll, Trump is ahead by 3 points. That's what I said. Okay, so Trump is ahead in these polls. And then let's see, there's another poll. So Reuters, the Reuters Ipsos poll shows that Harris is ahead by 1 point. Okay, and so I'm looking at all these numbers. CNN poll, actually New York Times poll, Forbes, Wall Street Journal. All of these polls show that Trump is ahead, and then Morning Consult is showing that Harris is ahead. Reuters is showing that Harris is ahead. And so, which poll are you going to trust? These polls were all done in the month of July. Are you going to trust the CNN poll, the New York Times poll, Morning Consult, Reuters? It's really up to you, but I think the average, overall, it shows that Trump is ahead by 1.2 points. Okay, and this is nationwide. But what's very important to have a good sense of who is really ahead, I think you have to look at the battleground states. So let me look at the battleground states. I've got my laptop right here, so I'm going to try to pull up those numbers. Let's see. All right. So we're going to first look at Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is the state that I am in. Okay. And Wisconsin is a battleground state. In 2016, Trump won Wisconsin. Trump got the 10 electoral college votes from Wisconsin in 2016. In 2020, Biden got the 10 electoral college votes from Wisconsin. And so the big question is, in 2024, who's going to win? Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Harris? Now, obviously, Biden's not running anymore. And so as I look at Wisconsin, I see, according to the Fox poll, Trump got 50% in Wisconsin, according to the Fox poll. Okay? And Trump is at 50, Harris is at 49. So it's real close, according to the Fox poll. And if you look at the Emerson poll, the Hill/Emerson poll, then you see that it's a tie. It's a tie. Both are at 47%. That's Trump and Harris, both at 47%, according to the Hill/Emerson poll. Real close in Wisconsin. And then the Bloomberg poll, Bloomberg/Morning Consult poll, is showing that Harris is ahead by 2 points. So Harris is at 49, Trump is at 47. This is all from Wisconsin. So one poll shows Trump is ahead, one poll shows Harris is ahead, one poll shows it's a tie, and there are some other polls also. But you understand how close this race is in Wisconsin, and trust me, it doesn't surprise me, because I've lived in Wisconsin for many years. I am deeply involved in Wisconsin politics. I pay attention to what's going on in the state. I talk to the people. I try to understand the pulse of the voters. I try to understand how voters are feeling, which way they are leaning, what are the top issues that they are thinking about. And it's real close. It's real close. And I am not surprised that it's that close. And election night, I don't know how long it's going to take for the Wisconsin results to come. It might be a long night on election night as America waits to find out what's going on in Wisconsin, who's going to win Wisconsin. Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Harris? I think we may end up waiting for a long time. I don't think the results are going to show up immediately, at least for Wisconsin. There are some other red states where the results will come pretty quickly, but I'm talking about battleground Wisconsin. And it may be midnight by the time we find out. I don't know. Let me see some comments here. Memento writes, so close. Memento writes, oh, I hate the delay in results. I want the results to come very quickly also, but it's the nature of politics, and we have seen, if you look at the past elections, we have had some elections, even 2018. 2018 was midterm election. It wasn't a presidential year, but here in Wisconsin, we were eagerly waiting for the results of the gubernatorial race. And it was a long night. We had to wait for a long time before we got the results, okay? So that's Wisconsin. It's going to be real close. Now, I know that the candidates are going to be coming to Wisconsin quite a bit. If I am to guess, I'm going to say both Trump and Harris will probably be coming to Wisconsin a lot between now and November, because it is a battleground state. All right. Now, Wisconsin is a swing state, and it is really a swing state. It is really a swing state. Now, if you look at the map, the overall map of Wisconsin, you're going to see that most of the state is red. Across the state, most people, if you look at a county by county, map, election map, you're going to see that most of the state is red. Most voters are Republicans, but then you have some very heavily populated cities like Milwaukee, like Madison, and some other places like La Crosse, where you've got big campuses, lots of students, very, very populated. Those areas tend to vote blue, as Memento wrote. Big cities are usually blue. Well, big cities. I don't know about all big cities, but at least Memento. I'm going to tell you, in Wisconsin, the big cities tend to lean quite heavily towards blue, towards Democrats, and that's why it is really a swing state. It's all about voter turnout. If you've got a lot of voter turnout in the cities, then it's probably going to swing to the left. And if you've got people from the suburban and the rural areas, if you see high voter turnout in those areas, then I think the results are gonna favor the Republicans. So it's a real swing state. And in the same election, and this happened in 2022, in the same election, in a statewide race, okay, you can have a Republican win one statewide race, and then you can have a Democrat win another statewide race in the same election, on the same ballot. And we saw that in 2022. This is the ultimate swing state. Trump came to Wisconsin many times over the last many years. I expect he'll be coming to Wisconsin quite a bit between now and November. And as I said, Harris will probably do the same. In 2016, just to recap, Trump won Wisconsin. In 2020, it was Biden who got the 10 Electoral College votes from Wisconsin. What's going to happen in 2024? We have to wait and see. Now let's move from Wisconsin to Michigan. Let's talk about Michigan. If you have thoughts about Michigan, you can let me know. I'm paying attention to the chat window. Share with me your thoughts. In Michigan, and I'm going to change the map here also. I'm going to switch it to Michigan. Okay. Michigan, when you look at the Fox poll, the Fox News poll, it's a tie. Can you believe that? In Michigan, it's a tie. Trump is at 49%. Harris is at 49%. This is from July. It's a tie in Michigan. Unbelievable. And then if you look at the Hill/Emerson poll for Michigan, Trump is ahead by 1 point. 1 point only. He is at 46. Trump is at 46. Harris is at 45. Okay. The Bloomberg News/Morning Consult poll. If you look at that, you're going to be surprised at the results. That poll, the Bloomberg News/Morning Consult poll, shows that Harris is up by 11 points in Michigan. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say. I mean, trust me. For Michigan, this is Michigan I'm talking about. Fox News says it's a tie. Fox News poll shows it's a tie. The Hill/Emerson poll shows Trump is ahead by a point. Bloomberg/Morning Consult poll shows that Harris is ahead by 11 points. Okay, I'm not going to tell you which poll to trust. It's really up to you. Which poll are you going to trust? If you have thoughts, you can let me know. Write those in the chat window. But that's pretty unbelievable. That's pretty unbelievable, okay? I mean, it's the nature of polls. Polls are going to vary, right? Polls are going to vary. But to have one poll show that Harris is ahead by 11 points, while the Fox News poll shows that it's a tie, while the Hill poll shows that Trump is ahead by 1 point. So when you look at a poll that says it's a tie and another poll says that Trump is ahead by 1 point, or even if it was Harris ahead by 1 point, you could say, yeah, it makes sense. It's either a tie or somebody is ahead. But Bloomberg / Morning Consult shows that Harris is ahead by 11 points. I mean, what conclusion can you draw? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to let you decide. Uh, remember, Trump won Michigan in 2016, but in 2020, it was Biden who won Michigan, all right? So we're going to keep an eye on Michigan. It's going to be a very important state. And so, we're going to have to wait and see. Let's talk about Pennsylvania now. Pennsylvania, very, very important state. The polls that I have looked at, and I'm going to switch my screen here. The polls that I have looked at, most show, I'm going to look at it again, most show that Trump is ahead in Pennsylvania. Emerson poll shows, the Hill / Emerson poll shows that Trump is at 48%, so he's ahead by 2 points because Harris is at 46. Fox News poll shows it's a tie. Fox showed in Michigan that it's a tie. For Pennsylvania, it's the same thing. It's a tie according to Fox News poll. When you look at Bloomberg / Morning Consult, that shows for Pennsylvania that Trump is ahead by 4 points. So Trump is at 50%, Harris is at 46, so Trump is ahead by 4 points. And there are some other polls like New York Times / Siena poll that also shows that Trump is ahead by 1 point. Trump is at 48, Harris is at 47. So Trump, if you trust the polls, all the polls show that Trump is the one who has the lead, except for Fox News poll where it shows it's a tie. But I'm not seeing a poll in Pennsylvania that shows that Harris is ahead, okay? So that's Pennsylvania. Let's talk about Arizona, okay? Anyone from Arizona watching this? If you're watching this, if you're from Arizona, let me know. All right, I changed the screen. Now we are looking at Arizona. In Arizona, that's a border state, okay? I need to mention that. I'm sure you all know this already. It's a border state. And so Arizona is going to be very important because the people in Arizona, they've really experienced the impacts of the border crisis. So when Trump was in office, he worked hard to secure the border. He made great progress in doing that. And then that was Trump. When Biden came to office, the border was open, people poured in, and the border states, the people in those states suffered a great deal. New Mexico, California, Arizona, and obviously Texas. And so it's important to understand what the people in Arizona may be thinking. As they saw over the last 3+ years what happened at the border, how that affected Arizona. Did that change a lot of minds? Did that, are there Democrats in Arizona, Democrat voters who are now thinking, hey, it was a mistake voting for a Democrat in the 2020 election. Now let's vote for Trump. I'm sure there will be some voters who are gonna move in that direction. Maybe they regret voting for Biden, and now they're gonna vote for Trump. So let's look at the polls now. And once again, my friends, let me know your thoughts, okay? For Arizona, we're looking at Trump versus Harris. And if you look at the Hill / Emerson poll, it shows that Trump is ahead by 5 points. 5 points, all right? Trump is at 49. Harris is at 44. So Trump is ahead by 5 points in Arizona, according to the Hill / Emerson poll. But if you look at Bloomberg, the Bloomberg poll, Bloomberg / Morning Consult, you're going to see something different. That shows that in Arizona, Harris is ahead by 2 points. Harris is at 49 and Trump is at 47. So are you going to trust the poll that shows that that Trump is ahead by 5 points, or are you going to trust the poll that shows Harris is ahead by 2 points? Okay, so you make the decision. I'm not going to tell you what to trust because I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Bluebird writes, Trump for president. Thank you so much. Yeah, I support Trump too. Okay, someone's writing, if I'm correct, Pennsylvania is 19 electoral points. Good question. Let me see how many electoral college votes Pennsylvania has. I'm going to have to look it up. Electoral votes. Let's see. Pennsylvania electoral college votes. How many in Pennsylvania? Yeah, so in 2024, Pennsylvania is going to have 19 electoral college votes. That's correct. Badger Den is here. Badger Den, so wonderful to see you. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to chat with you. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a solo live stream. So Badger Den, it's good to see you. I know you've watched at least some of my live stream with with other guests. Badger Den writes, "Hey Tassif, you have." Oh, okay, Badger Den. I see your comment. I'm seeing lots of comments here, and I know that there are some viewers here who probably are not Trump fans. That's okay. If somebody writes something meaningful in the chat window, I'm gonna try to respond to that. Let's see. A viewer writes, Arizona is 11 points. Arizona. I should be. I should make a list of. I should have a printed electoral college map on my desk. Sorry, I don't have it right now. Arizona is 11. That is correct. And so, let's see. Bluebird writes that Bluebird wants Trump to win. We all want Trump to win. I think the freedom-loving Americans want Trump to win because, people miss the good economy. The good economy. We had a great economy when Trump was in office. So people miss that, okay? All right. So let's talk about Arizona. And I think I already said that the Hill/Emerson poll shows that in Arizona, Trump is ahead. The Bloomberg/Morning Consult poll shows that Harris is ahead. So I'll let you make the decision. So who's going to win Arizona in 2024? We have to wait and see. And then there's Georgia. We have to, let me see some comments here. Okay. We have to pay attention to Georgia. It is such an important state. All these states are important. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Georgia. Now, the polls that I've looked at, and I'm going to change my screen here. As I'm looking at Georgia, only out of the polls that I'm looking at, I see that Bloomberg/Morning Consult poll shows that in Georgia, it's a tie between Harris and Trump. Both are at 47%. Out of the polls that I'm looking at for Georgia, I think that's the only one that shows that Trump and Harris are a tie. But then I look at the Fox 5 Atlanta/Insider Advantage poll that shows that Trump is ahead by 10 points. The Hill/Emerson poll shows that Trump is ahead by 2 points. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll shows that Trump is at 51%, Harris is at 46%. That means Trump is ahead by 5 points. And so clearly, I think Trump has an advantage in Georgia. Only one poll is showing that it's a tie, but all the other polls show that Trump is ahead. So I am optimistic about Georgia. I'm hoping that Trump's going to win Georgia, and it's going to be it's going to be amazing if Trump wins Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia. Then he's going to be the president again. And so I wanted to discuss these states. These are the states that people are going to be looking at. Of course, we're going to look at the other states also, because all the states matter in an election. But these are the states that will probably decide who the winner is on election night. Badgerden writes, no Susan Knapp, no Terry Dunlap, no Pamela Hernandez. I have not seen them here today, unless I missed a comment, because I've had lots of comments today, so I may have missed a few. But yeah, it would be great to have Susan and Terry Dunlap and Pamela Hernandez tune in and join this live stream, but I don't see them. But Badgerden, I'm glad you are here, and I will continue to do solo live streams, but I will also continue to have guests on my channel. So I'll try to do both. And I really appreciate Badgerden, you being here. Thank you. So my friends, we can discuss these polls all day, but it's a dynamic process. Every single day, the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign are both engaging in voter outreach. There are TV ads and online ads, and every day the numbers may be changing, and then there will be more poll results coming out in the months ahead, and we will try to follow all that, and I'll try to discuss the latest news and updates on my channel. So Bluebird is writing. So Badgerden asked a question to Bluebird. Badgerden asked, where are you from? Bluebird writes, India, legal immigrant. Bluebird, glad to see that you've tuned in for this live stream, and glad to hear that you are a legal immigrant. You came into the country legally. Welcome. I hope you are. I hope you're enjoying being in the United States. So thank you for tuning in. And Bluebird, I'm just gonna say, if you want to hear my thoughts about immigration and the ongoing border crisis, please watch some of my previous live streams that I've done. I've been doing live streams since January, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but I also have other videos on my channel that are not live streams. Those are just, recorded episodes that I've published where I've discussed immigration issues, because I am a legal immigrant. I came into the United States legally, and I am a U.S. citizen. I became a U.S. citizen in 2014, so I have thoughts about immigration issues. And so, Bluebird, if you have an interest in hearing my thoughts about immigration issues, please watch some of my previous videos. And I see another comment here. Viewer is writing. So you used to be a Democrat, and then you became a Republican. So welcome to the Republican Party. Welcome. It's good to hear that you switched. You went from being a Democrat to being a Republican. Welcome. All right. So my friends, as I was saying, I'm going to be discussing more poll results. I'm going to be talking about more updates in future live streams. This election, my friends, I believe, and I really believe this, okay? I believe that this is probably the most important election of our lifetime. And the nature of this election is very different from past elections, because the incumbent president, just a few months before the election, he decided to exit the race. That's Joe Biden. And even today, we're waiting to find out officially who the Democratic nominee will be. I mean, officially. As I said, it is going to be Kamala. If you pay attention to what's going on and all the endorsements that she's getting, it becomes pretty obvious that Kamala Harris is going to be the Democratic nominee. But officially, we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. And I'm guessing that the nomination process has to be officially completed at the DNC, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. So we are in the month of August. This is August 1st. So this is the month when the Democratic National Convention will be held in Chicago. So we're going to have to wait and see, how the official nomination process takes place, what that process is going to look like. And then who's going to be Kamala Harris's VP? We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. And that may impact the poll results. And then Trump is running again. And Trump is a former president. And as many people believe, and I believe, that he's going to be the 47th president. He's going to win. He has decided who his vice presidential pick is. Trump has decided who is going to be his running mate. That's J.D. Vance. But we don't know who's going to be the running mate on the same ticket with Kamala Harris. Is it going to be Senator Kelly? Is it going to be Governor Shapiro from Pennsylvania? Is it going to be J.B. Pritzker? I don't think it'll be J.B. Pritzker from Illinois. Is it going to be Gretchen Whitmer? I don't know. Is it going to be Tim Walz from Minnesota? I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. But the vice presidential pick will also have an impact on the ticket, okay? I know that some people say that it's really about the people at the top of the ticket. It's really about who the presidential candidates are. But I do believe that the VP pick does have an impact. And so we don't know who Kamala Harris is going to pick as her VP, running mate. We have to wait and find out, but it has become quite obvious that it's going to be Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket. So the focus is on Trump versus Kamala, and then, who's going to be Kamala Harris's running mate, we have to wait to find out. My friends, that's really all that I have for today. I do have a lot that I could discuss, but for today's live stream, I really wanted to discuss the poll results from Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Georgia, because all eyes are on these states. We can talk about Nevada, we can talk about North Carolina, but really, I mean, these 5 states are extremely important. Let's see some comments here. Okay. So Bluebird writes, sure, it's been a pleasure to tune in to someone staying sane in this insanity across America. It's so easy to get brainwashed by the mainstream media. Bluebird, I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate that you find this live stream, helpful, and I appreciate your encouraging words. I would also encourage you to look at some of my previous videos, because I've done so many of these live streams, and what I have always said is that I want these live streams to be like a community. It shouldn't be just me talking. I like to interact. Badger Den, who's here, in the chat window today. Badger Den has been watching my videos for a long time, and I have other viewers, other friends, and Badger Den mentioned some of those names. Badger Den mentioned Terry Dunlap and Susan Epp and Pamela Hernandez, and there are others. So over the last several months, as I have been doing these live streams, this has become sort of like a community. I like to start a live stream and share my thoughts and whatever I have on my mind, whatever I think I need to share with the viewers out there. But in addition to that, I like to hear people's thoughts. I like to see your comments. And I tell people, you may agree with me, you may agree with my views, that's fine. But you may also disagree with my views, and that's fine too. I want to hear your thoughts. I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in dialogue. I believe in sharing of knowledge and sharing of information. And so, I love it when people tune in and they're not just watching, but they're also asking questions. They're sharing their thoughts. They are pointing out facts. They are expressing their opinions. So, Bluebird, I hope you will stay connected to me. Um, so Bluebird is writing about my comment on media meltdown on Trump leading swing state. You know, there are gonna be so many different voices that you're gonna hear on these television networks, right? Okay, now you may be watching a right-leaning network or a left-leaning network, whatever network you're watching. You're going to have all the political commentators and the analysts and the different lawyers and election experts and people who have served in different presidential administrations in the past. They come in and share their thoughts. We're going to hear lots of different opinions. And in terms of the polls, I see that Trump is leading in so many polls, and I see Harris is leading in a few polls. Uh, but at the end of the day, it's really about the election day. It's really about the election day. I mean, polls can be, we have to watch the polls, we have to look at the polls, but you can't always trust the polls 100%. And we've seen that. I mean, right here in the state of Wisconsin, we have seen, and I've seen different election cycles. I've seen 2016. I've seen even before that. I remember the 2014 cycle, but I've been deeply involved, and I've seen 2016. I've seen 2018. I've seen 2020, 2022. And so one thing I've learned is that polls, you should pay attention to the polls, but don't always trust all the polls 100%. Okay, because there are some examples when polls showed that this candidate is ahead and on the path to victory when the other candidate won. Uh, Terry is here. Hi, Terry. So wonderful to see you. Terry writes, "Which polls do you trust?" Terry, is that a question for me? I try. I'm gonna give you the honest answer, Terry. I trust my own poll. All right. No, I don't do an official poll because I'm not sending out questions to people. I'm not calling people and asking for their opinions and making a tally. And I'm not doing statistical analysis. I trust my own judgment. I trust my own judgment. I talk to people. I talk to people in the cities. I talk to people in the suburbs. I talk to people in the rural areas. I talk to people who lean to the right, who lean to the left. Um, I talk to people who voted for Biden, but now they regret voting for Biden. I talk to people who voted for Trump. Um, and they love Trump. I also talk to people who uh, vote for Republicans, but for some reason they don't like Trump. I talk to a wide variety of people, and I don't do statistical analysis. How many people I talk to and what they told me. I don't do that, but I just absorb all the information, and I try to draw conclusions from that. And I can tell you that in the rural areas, people love Trump. And rural America is powerful. Rural America is very powerful. I live in a city. I live in the city of Madison, Wisconsin. But but I listen to the people in the rural areas. Now, that doesn't mean that the urban voters don't matter. As I said, if there's high turnout in Madison and Milwaukee and La Crosse, in some other Democrat heavy areas, then that could mean Democrats winning a statewide race in Wisconsin. If there's a very high turnout in the cities, in Democrat heavy areas. So, you know, the urban votes are important, but the rural votes are also very powerful. So, Terry, I don't know if I've answered your question, because you asked me which polls I trust. I didn't really give you a direct answer because I just draw my own conclusion from all the conversations that I have with people. Um, if there's a poll that you trust, Terry, you can share that. You can share that with us in the chat window. Let's see. Any more questions? Badgerden writes, does Kamala really want to debate Trump? I would love that debate. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that debate. I want to see Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on the debate stage in the studio. That's gonna be an amazing debate, and I hope they have more than one. Okay, at least 3. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, wouldn't it be great if there was a debate, 2 debates in maybe like 2 debates in September, 1 in October, or maybe 1 in September, 2 in October. That would be great. But then again, I think the earlier the debates happen, the better, because a lot of people early vote. So way before we even get to November 5th, there will be many voters who probably would have voted already, before getting to November 5th, because of the early voting options. And so I think the sooner the debates take place, the better. If when voting already starts, early voting for the general election, and if there's a debate during that time window, people who have made up their minds, who have already voted, the debates really wouldn't matter to them. So I hope the debates happen early. Badgerden, I understand what you're referring to. I saw that clip. I didn't see that whole interview that Trump had, but I saw that question. I saw that video. I heard that question that the interviewer asked. It was a long question. Oh my God, it was a long question. She basically said, "This happened. This happened. You said this. You said that. You said that. You said that." And finally she asked her question. Trump gave such an amazing answer. I mean, it was just one of those questions that tell you that Trump is not being treated fairly. Anyway, Badgerden, I know what interview you're referring to. I didn't watch the whole interview, but I've seen that clip. Okay, so Terry writes, Rasmussen is my choice. So Rasmussen poll. Terry likes the Rasmussen poll. So that's great to hear, Terry. Thanks for sharing that. If anyone gets a chance to watch it, do so. Okay, Terry, now that I've had a very busy week so far. I haven't had a chance to watch that, but I'm going to watch it. Maybe after I end this live stream, or maybe tomorrow. I'm going to watch that clip. So, my friends, that's all I have to discuss today. Any more questions for me? Badgerden writes, only Harris Faulkner of Fox News treated Trump fairly. Harris Faulkner is just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Harris Faulkner she is one of the best on Fox News. I'd say that she's one of the best on Fox News. And I just like the way she talks and the way she asks the questions and the clarity. She is so wonderful. So yeah, Harris Faulkner is great. Did Harris Faulkner also ask a question in that program? I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna have to go and look at that entire video. So I'm gonna do that. It's on my list now. All right, my friends, that's all I have for today. We're past the 1 hour time mark. It was so wonderful having this live stream. And please make sure that you stay connected and tune in for some of the upcoming live streams that I'm going to do. I haven't scheduled those yet, but I will be having more guests on my channel. So please stay connected with me. And I will also be doing solo live streams. I haven't been able to do one in a while. This is my first solo live stream in many weeks, I think. I don't even know when I did the last solo live stream. I have to look it up. But I will be trying to do more of the solo live streams as well as having guests on my channel. So please stay connected with me, Terry and Badger Den. Wonderful to see you both. So the other viewer who just said goodnight, I don't know how to pronounce the first name, but the second name is Couple. So I'm just gonna say DC. I'll just refer you as DC. DC, thank you for tuning in. Hope you stay connected. Bluebird, thank you so much. I hope you'll all come back and watch. So DK is fine. I should just say DK. All right, I'll say DK. Thank you, Bluebird. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Badger Den. Thank you, Terry. And thank you, others who tuned in tonight. I hope you will all subscribe and stay connected. And please watch some of my other videos that I've done in the past. And also, talk to your friends, your family members, and your neighbors about my channel. If they have an interest in political discussion, ask them to check out my channel. Ask them to subscribe. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful night, my friends. I'll be back again soon with another live stream. Thank you so very much. Have a great night.